Hi. Hi, Guy. We're going to start on time, which gives us just a minute. I'm just sending out the tweet right now. What is it, 685? Is that what we're on, 685?
That's what you told me.
Yeah, I say a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's what it says there. Right. Give me this. Give me this. God damn it. I was like, oh, we're going to start live. Well, it's still 3:15. Oh, we're going to start on time. It's still 3:15, so it can count. Okay, that works. Okay, tweet is out. This is closed. Boy, howdy. All right, let's 3:15, 3, 2, 1. Go Nintendo Podcast, episode 685. The Slurpuff Podcast. We did it. We made it. 3:15. We actually started. We did it.
Good thing.
Good thing what?
Good thing you started on time, and it wasn't that the Pokemon starts because we're having a bit of a technical difficulty presently.
You are?
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Just a nice blank page.
Oh, what are you trying to look at?
For the Pokemon, I'm in the middle of doing music.
You know, you could look it up on your phone.
That's my next move.
I'll do it.
Page unresponsive.
I'll do it for you. Pokemon. That's not how you spell Pokemon. 685.
All right. So
cool.
Slurpuff. I got it first, actually.
Well, I'm looking at it.
Is a white bipedal Pokemon with a red collar with a white spot of red below. No. Slurpuff.
Gee, it sure is boring around here.
You know what I was thinking about? When I listen to podcasts or traditional radio shows, how embarrassing. My faux pas. There's nothing that makes me laugh more than somebody doing soundboard stuff. I don't know. It tickles my fancy. And no, I will not be doing the soundboard today for the whole show. I'm just doing it while we wait for Kirby, who just said he's on his way, so he'll be here shortly. Well, Brain, please, can we do the Pokemon, please?
Slurpuff is a white bipedal Pokemon with a red collar with a white... No, dang. With a spot...
What?
Something's wrong.
Like, you forgot how to read?
Under-caffeinated, I think. A red collar with a spot of red below it and pink fluffy hair. On top of its head is a red sphere. In my defense, a lot of what I say doesn't make sense even when read correctly, quite frankly. It has 2 small pink feet, a pink face, and a really long red tongue that is usually sticking out. When it opens its mouth, you're a pervert. A pair of fangs can be seen on its upper jaw. It has an exceptionally keen sense of smell.
Huh? What?
How annoyed are you? This is why I can't have this.
Being 100 million times that of a human, allowing it to distinguish even the faintest of smells. It is ooh, it's real funny looking. It's number...
What the heck?
It's number 685. Its abilities include Sweet Veil. Its hidden ability is Unburden. There's males, there's females. There's males, there's females. They're 2 feet tall. And they weigh 11 pounds.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah, I know. I saw it. Yeah, God damn it, Omar. I forgot again. Omar said Dark Metamorphosis, which is a sound clip I want to have on the sound. Now we got to wait a whole nother week for Dark Metamorphosis on the podcast. Because I screwed up. I mean, if you guys could, like, man the show for, like, I'm going to say solid 5 minutes.
I can man the show for 5 minutes.
Then I could go upstairs on the desktop and take care of it.
What do you want me to talk about?
I mean, I would probably want you to do it during the news section because then you'd have one specific story that you could focus in on. But I don't know.
Look, I've proven that I could do it.
We'll talk about it later. Hello, Ray Hunter and Floody and Twisted N, and Black Husky, and Asian Style, and Spectre Bazaar, and Omar, and the Owl Wolf, and Mario Mania. Kirby is coming, yes, and there will be music today, yes. Hello, Roth. If Mom Brain is here, there will be music. Hello, Jumpman, and Hylian Tom, and Stakona, and Ser, and Mark, and Timothy Honeycutt. I feel like I say people's names twice. And Swedish Galaxy, and Andrew. First live show. Well, thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Our condolences.
Or, yes, thank you, and our apologies. That's very true. Hello, Jacob. Jacob says, first podcast I've caught live in forever. Well, forever is a long time, so thank you, Jacob. And everybody else that's going to join us. Hello, Steel Diver. I greatly appreciate it, because for some odd reason, you have decided to spend part of your weekend listening to us live. So that's pretty cool. Hello, Antonio, and Giant Reggie, and Javier Serna. And I think that's all that popped in right now. I appreciate it. I have a question for you guys, and I'm sure the answer is going to be the answer I don't want to hear, but that's how I find stuff out and figure things out. When we go live on the podcast, for those of you who are subscribed to the YouTube channel, do you get a notification letting you know that we're going live? Because I watch a few podcasts on YouTube, and some of them are talking about how notifications just don't go out to their followers, and other people do get it. So I honestly don't know, because I don't. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it. I don't know because what was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought. Well, like I was saying, some people are getting notifications and some aren't. And for me personally, on the podcast, okay, so then it's working. I know it is working. Thank you, guys. Hello, Nintendo fanboy. Hello, Mike. I know for some of the things I'm subscribed to on YouTube, be it channels that do live content or just regular content, sometimes I'll get notifications and sometimes I won't. And it's not about the bell being clicked. Because when I subscribe to someone, I click the subscribe button and I click the bell for everybody. So, like, for example, Game Explain, they'll do a video and I won't get a notification. Nothing. I'll get nothing. And then, like, maybe a few hours later in my email, I'll get an email saying that that they did something. But that's very rare. Most of the time, it just won't tell me. And I was talking to Andre at Game Explain, and he's like, yeah, I'm subscribed to a whole bunch of channels, and it's the same thing. They tell you at YouTube if you want to see a channel's content, subscribe. But if you want to be notified the second that they put out new content, click the bell. So that's why I click the bell for everything. I think it's such a dumb idea that you subscribe to a channel and that by default doesn't notify you when they put something up new. It'll just kind of push it to you eventually, maybe. If I subscribe, I want to know. So Antonio wants more likes on the podcast. I mean, likes, I guess, are important currency on YouTube. Hello, Kirby. People were very worried that you weren't going to be here, but you're here. And I apologize because I forgot to add Dark Metamorphosis to the soundboard. Now we got, I was saying, maybe, depending on the news, if you and Mom Brain can handle it, I can run upstairs, edit the Dark Metamorphosis sound clip, get it on the iPad, and we can have it for this show. But I'll need to see if there's a story we can actually handle. Hello, ZX Billy. I believe in you too. I think you can do it.
Do you need me to, like, do you need the iPad with you?
No, I shouldn't. No, I should be able to come back down here and do it.
Because it looks like it's almost dead.
Yeah, I have it plugged in. It was dead when I came down here, but you're good to go. I handled it while you were gone. Don't worry. I did a whole bunch of them while Mom Brain was trying to get through the Pokemon.
Yeah, sorry I've been late the past couple of weeks.
It's okay. I have been late a lot. I was saying today we actually started at 3:15 because I haven't been late. Let me talk about this because it's related to this. I changed my schedule. Mm-hmm. I've been trying to change my schedule because I want to do things differently. I want to keep the flow of news going on the site better. So I have been sleeping at different times, and I'm up much earlier to do news on the site. And it's going really well as far as coverage on the site goes, but my body is freaking out, so I'm still trying to get used to it. It's only been like a week and a half.
Your body isn't ready?
My body's not ready. I was like, why do we have that on there?
Why don't you just take the day off to get the soundboard squared away?
I've been trying to... it's very hard to work, figure out when to go to bed, and also have time to play games. So I'm still figuring that all out. First world problems.
Yeah.
But yes, don't feel bad about being late. It's perfectly fine. So
You know who's
I'm
not
not giving
late?
myself enough time to shower.
Me.
that always happens. I think that happens to a lot of people. Like, I woke up extra early today to get the site in order and get all the news done before we came to do the podcast. And I finished all the news at like 2:10. I was like, Jesus Christ, that's not a lot of time. I was like, I got up early, I'll take care of it, then I can take some time and eat something. So I just like rushed lunch, and here we are. But don't feel bad about it. What's that? Cards Against Humanity card?
Being a busy adult with many important things to do.
We keep referencing. Yeah.
All right. So let's. I mean, some of that was site related. Whatever. You know the podcast. Well, if you're watching live, well, now you know the podcast. If you're watching live for the first time or listening for the first time, I apologize. But hello, Char. For those who, lots of people joining live for the first time today. Thank you, Char. For those of you who have been listening for a long time, you know the show is just we throw Nintendo news in there. I mean, I would say the bulk of the show is Nintendo news, but we have a lot of tangents.
No, mostly we talk about food.
Hello, Lanquin. I have some news, but it's not food related.
No.
So I told Mom Brain about this. I wasn't allowed to say anything, but it is 1,000,000,000% official, and I have to give you podcast listeners a very, very, very special thank you. This is specifically for the podcast listeners because I did mention it on Twitter once or twice, but you know, Twitter's fast moving, and I didn't mention it on the site, I don't think. But podcast, I directly mentioned it to you, and if you listen to the pre-recorded version, then you got like triple the dose of it. But I have to thank you because Game Chops, the album producer that puts out a whole bunch of game-related remix albums and stuff like that. A couple weeks ago, we did a
label, right?
What? Yes, they are label. We did a sponsored podcast for Zelda and Chill. We had two segments we had two sections of music from that show, and then I did a live read ad during the show for you guys. Told you to go check it out, gave you the smart link, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'm very excited and happy to tell you that for the first time ever in Game Chops history, they had an album that charted on the Billboard charts. The Billboard charts! Their first...
You, Link, are the hero!
Their first album ever. They've put out a bazillion albums, but this is the first one ever to chart on the Billboard charts. It's on the Billboard Dance Electronic Album chart, and it debuted at number 14. So thank you very much, everybody, that actually, Lanquin says, Go Nintendo bump. Thank you to everybody that actually checked out that album, and especially thank you to those who purchased it. Obviously, Billboard doesn't track stuff. These charts, anyway, don't track stuff like streaming through Spotify and stuff like that, so I'm sure that's doing well as well. But a lot of people actually went and bought the album. So thank you very much, because that is absolutely awesome. Obviously, the guys at Game Chops are very happy because they don't really do promotions or sponsorships, but they know I'm a big fan of game music, and I've been following their stuff for years. And I'm a huge fan of DJ Cutman, and I was talking to him. We've followed each other for a long time. We were like, we've never done anything like this on either end. Let's give it a shot and see what happens. And obviously, I know the podcast isn't the only reason why this got a bump. But like I said, there's been a ton of albums out from this. That's a good point. This is the very first one to make the Billboard charts. So thank you very much. Let's see what else is on here. Number 15 is Starlight by Sunset Neon. I don't know what that is. Number 13 is 40 Best Running and Workout Songs 2018. The Power Music Workout. Number 12 is the Chainsmokers album Memories Do Not Open. Wow. Wow, look at this. Number 11 is Now That's What I Call Hits and Remixes. Boy, they do now for everything, don't they? You know what's amazing? This is going to sound, I probably shouldn't say this, but you know what's amazing? People buy CDs.
Oh, yeah.
When was the last time you bought a CD?
It was like maybe 4 years ago, and I bought it by accident.
Got home and opened up your bag, and you're like, "What the hell is this?"
No, because I for some reason I thought I had pre-ordered like the digital version
Oh.
on Amazon, but I guess I accidentally bought the physical.
Well, sometimes
version.
they throw in the physical with the digital because CDs are cheap to print. So
yeah, and here's what happened. So they delivered the CD to me, and I like tried to return it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we don't want that.
Yeah, basically they said that they didn't want it back, so I got it for free.
Mark says, "What the F is a CD?" Yeah, right. They're this. They look like tiny records, and they're very shiny, and they had a limited amount of music on them. And if they got scratched, you couldn't listen to your music anymore. So yes, thank you very much, guys. I really, really appreciate that. And I was going to say now it's even better because when I'm potentially reaching out for other sponsorships, I can say, "Look, this happened," which is a big deal. And they'll go, "Oh." So I'm talking to Spectre. I know you're saying, Spectre says cassettes are better than CD. I've been reading about how cassettes are also seeing a bump in sales in recent years.
I love the sound of a bag full of cassettes. I love the sound of
So not the sound of the music on a cassette, but just a bag. Why do you have a bag of cassettes?
I mean, just like
the sound of plastic.
Yeah, like that the thin plastic clacking against.
Oh, that's my favorite album.
Bagging on a trash can. I don't know. There's just something about it I like.
I mean, I always had the hiss of a cassette for years and years after like cassettes were done because I had my car had the cassette deck that you had to slip the thing into, and I had the cassette that had the cord that ran out to a CD player.
I had that too.
So I was used to that hiss for a long time.
Yeah, cassettes are almost like the new vinyl now.
Yeah.
Even though I think we could all agree they sound worse, right?
Yes, I would agree they sound worse.
Oh,
I would agree there's some sort of, or I would say there's some sort of
Or
like
maybe that's what people like about
nostalgic charm to
it.
it.
Sure.
But just from a pure audio perspective, yes, they sound worse without a doubt. But I could get down with certain types of albums having that cassette sound without having to deal with the cassette features, such as holding fast forward to go through songs and rewinding and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know, something like the Midnight. I like the Midnight. Some of their songs fit well with that whole aesthetic, so I could get down with that if they put something out on a cassette. Yes, Timothy says Celeste B-Sides is on cassette. That's very true. They sold a cassette. Hello, Suave. Thanks for joining us. All right, so I talked about that. I talked about...
Have we talked about Bowsette yet?
Oh, trust me.
Oh, good.
Talked a lot about Bowsette. We didn't mention it in today's podcast yet. No,
I was afraid I'd miss it.
We did not talk about it yet on the podcast, but I'm sure it'll come up at some point. There's something else.
It's not the top story.
That I want to talk about. It was a top story one day. I mean, to tell you the truth, the Bowsette conversation has been a real roller coaster this past week. It's been, I mean, I've never been contacted by so many porn outlets telling me how many people are looking for Bowsette. That is a 100% true statement. If you haven't been following the news, I must have made one of those a top story. We'll get to all that later. There was something else I wanted to talk about. It's gone. You know, and I'm sitting at my computer upstairs, and I'm like, I should write this down because we're going to forget. And I was like, no, I won't forget something like this. Well, here we are. Whatever. We're going on the news.
The sponsor?
No, whatever.
No.
It'll come to me. Something keeps telling me Price is Right, but I know that's not it. Just because I was annoyed with the Price is Right.
Oh, yeah.
We used to be able to watch the Price is Right on demand, but CBS has their All Access app now.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Comcast On Demand only has like the most recent episode, and that's it. And CBS's app, you used to be able to go and watch it whenever you wanted, but now because of All Access, you have to pay. And I'm like, I don't want to pay $5 just to watch The Price is Right. It's not something that I like. I will watch The Price is Right anytime, but it's not something where I'm like at the end of every week, I'm like, let me catch up on The Price is Right. Like there will be times where I'm like, you know, I missed a couple episodes. I'd like to sit down and watch them. And that happens maybe once a month or something like that. Because while I'm working, I have the second monitor and I have The Price is Right on while I'm watching there. And there was an episode I wanted Mom Brain to see, and Well,
Nope.
had to pay. So I'm not saying I'm pirating or illegally downloading or anything. I'm just complaining that you used to be able to watch them for free. We watched them at McDonald's. We went to McDonald's and had lovely breakfast there and
Right, we did. That
streamed it on the iPad. Hello, Jammy. Hello, Drake.
Did you get hash browns?
Oh, yeah. Got poop sticks, definitely. Highly and Tom, I want to see what you're talking about.
Speaking of poop sticks, it's Stinky Bee's birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It is.
I did not know. I did not know
Facebook
that.
told me.
My calendar told me.
Like the written calendar?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some Nintendo
People
news for
still buy
real now.
those, too.
Well, some people, like John the Savage, aren't on Facebook, so when their birthday comes up, you're like, oh my God, did we miss it?
And some people keep very specific calendars, don't they?
All right, we're not talking about any of that. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
Let's
not bring him into this.
Let's talk about Nintendo. Baten Kaitos 3. So there's Baten Kaitos, obviously 1 and 2 for the GameCube. 3 was actually in development and made it to the pre-production phase, but then was never released. This information comes from Yasuki Hone, or Hone. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. It's Yasuyuki Hone.
Mm-hmm.
They say it's been more than 10 years since the release of Baten Kaitos 2, and even now it pains me that I continue to receive requests for a sequel. I think the statute of limitations has run out, so I can say a little bit about it. Immediately after the release of the second game, we worked on a sequel up until the pre-production phase, but just before Baten Kaitos 3 could become a reality, the story ended due to circumstances of involved parties. If we made it, it would have been grand scale with settings at the bottom of the sea, on land, and in the sky. There's a large amount of concept art for the sequel sealed away at Bandai Namco. Requests for a sequel should be directed not just to myself and Monolith Soft, but also Bandai Namco. Well, Bandai Namco is great friends with Nintendo nowadays, and if there's still requests coming in for a third game, and it has been 10 years, maybe now's the time for it to be revived. Stranger things have certainly happened. So if you are a fan of Baten Kaitos, get out there on Twitter and annoy everybody. Shillelagh says, I don't remember Bandai Namco having any ties to Baten Kaitos. Did they own Monolith Soft before Nintendo bought them? My memory must be going. I feel like I should know this, or did, but forgot. And he says, edit. Yeah, silly me. Namco published the games. Well, there you go. Now you know, and now you know who to direct your ire at. Here's something crazy. Super Mario Party, which is not out on the Switch, was sold, a physical copy, or no, I should just say a physical game card.
Do you know how much I hate Mario Party?
How much do you?
I hate it so that I might rather touch a snake.
Wow. That's
100%
really
sure,
bad for you.
I hate it.
Well, other people really like Mario Party.
I am glad that they enjoy it.
Hello, Zeno. Thanks for joining us. And someone liked it enough to buy a loose game card of Super Mario Party off of eBay for $7,100. They spent $7,100 on eBay to get a loose game card of Super Mario Party. Langquin, that's a great idea for a parents' play. He wants my parents to play Senran Kagura Reflections. That would be very funny. Oh, boy. How would you say this name? Jouyeur.
Joyer.
No comment.
Hello, Video Game Guru. Well, if you explain how to say your name in the chat phonetically, I will say a better hello to you, but hello for now. I'm guessing, yes.
Is that foreign? Is that a foreign name?
Yes, Parents Play are going to come back. My parents have been doing a lot of stuff with moving and getting their house ready, so we haven't been able to record a lot, but it's coming back. Anyway, Super Mario Party. So you're probably like, why does somebody have a loose game card for Super Mario Party? Because A, it's not out yet, and B, what the hell happened to the game box? Well, this person says they live in Seattle, Washington, and obviously Nintendo's headquarters are out in Seattle. They say they were at an airport, or they're in Redmond, but close to Seattle. They say they were at an airport, and at the airport, they saw that a game card was sitting there. So they picked it up, and they took it for themselves, and rather than trying to return it, they just sold it on eBay. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Santiago.
$7,100.
So they had pictures of the game card. They also had footage of the game running, playing, so it all looked legit. And then, you know, the story does sound fishy. It's like back in our day when we were in school, someone would be like, my uncle works at Nintendo, and he told me Mario and Luigi are gonna make love. Whatever, I don't know.
Wait, what?
So this feels like that today's version of that being told through the internet. Like, oh, I was at the airport and I found it on the ground, and now it's legit. But as far as I know, it was legit, and I followed the auction. It ended at $7,100. So I can imagine Nintendo being very angry about this if it is true. And the timing fits up with it well, because Nintendo had been traveling around to a lot of events to showcase the game, public events and stuff like that, both in the States and abroad, the stuff like EGX. So traveling, I've seen plenty of people lose game cards and lose their Switches at airports or just forget them there. So to think that it happened to a Nintendo employee,
I mean,
I believe it.
employees-
I believe it, but it's a little harder to
Yeah.
swallow. I do believe it, though. I think it could happen.
It fell off the back of a truck.
Yeah, that's it.
They got it at a TJ Maxx.
Autumnal Blake says, pretty superficial purchase.
There's like bloodstains on the car.
You'll be able to get the game soon. Yeah, I know. Somebody really felt that getting the game like a week and a half early was a good reason to spend $7,100. Whatever. If you got the money and that's what you want to spend it on, then that's what you spend it on. And I'm sure if this story is legit, that means Nintendo is going to be trying to track you down to get that cartridge back.
Yeah, watch your back.
There are people who would like Nintendo to do a more traditional virtual console service on the Switch. Right now we have the Switch Online NES selection, which is going to have more games each month. And Nintendo has pretty much outright said that what they're doing with this subscription style service is the replacement for something like a virtual console. But people still hold out hope and complain and all that, blah, blah, blah. So this is the only bit of hope I can give you. There's a Switch data miner that noticed that the Switch eShop JavaScript object notation was updated recently, and it contains references to Virtual Console, Super Nintendo, Game Boy Color, N64, GBA, and DS. Now, this could be data that was just accidentally carried over from the 3DS's Virtual Console, which obviously doesn't make sense for N64 because N64 games weren't on the 3DS Virtual Console. Or perhaps there's something else in the works there. So I can't tell you for sure. I'm just telling you that the information was updated. Why? Who the hell knows? Entropy says, if and when these hit the online service, it will most probably be like the NES Suite is right now. Don't see them doing it any other way. That is also one way of looking at it. They are just, sticking with the terms that have been used so far and enlisting platforms that they're going to support. So, yes, down the road we could see all of those games. I would imagine it'll be quite some time until we see something like the Super Nintendo, let alone everything else that's on that list. But if you want to hold out hope, there's your little nugget of hope. Mom Brain.
Oh, nugget, I get it, because he's a data miner.
Yes, you got it. You got it. Just like I wore a aluminum foil or tin foil hat in my video yesterday, because we were talking about conspiracy theories about what a picture meant and is Nintendo teasing something. So I wore that in a video, but never explained why I was wearing it. And some people were like, why are you wearing that? And it's like, Sorry. There's a new Pokemon revealed this week. He was popping up, or it was popping up in Pokemon Go. And now it was officially revealed. Your new Pokemon is Meltan. Meltan is a steel-type Pokemon with a body mostly made of liquid metal, which makes its shape very fluid. This Pokemon can use its liquid arms and legs to corrode metal and absorb into its body. Meltan can generate electricity using the metal it absorbs from outside sources. It uses this electricity as an energy source, and for an attack it fires from its eye. Let me show you two Meltan. Meltan, can I have a 1 to 10 on Meltan?
Is that red thing its tongue?
Oh, it's a tail. I don't know.
Wait. Its head's.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, it's got to be a tail because it's like an electric plug that's like cut.
I'm giving it a 4.
Its head's a nut. He's got a nut head.
That's right. Shut up, knothead. So there's your new Pokemon. Everybody's like, what the hell's going on with this thing? What is this thing? Why is it in Pokemon Go? Well, now we officially got the reveal. Am I going to be talking about Metroid Prime 4 today? I pretty much talked about it. I don't know if it's a top story. I'll address it again. Sure. Sonic and M2 says, I guess I'm okay with him now that they've revealed him. He seemed like a mistake before this. Meltan was a mistake. No, not a mistake. Yes, people were thinking that they accidentally revealed a new Pokemon in the game. But then it stuck around for a while and was popping up all over the world. So people were like, oh, boy, either they are secretly revealing something or it was a big mistake to begin with. And now it's just getting bigger.
Oh, I thought he meant that like it was just a terrible idea for a Pokemon. That's what he meant by mistake.
No. It popped up in Pokemon Go without any announcement or indicators or anything. It was just there.
Right.
Lanquin says, my sister was a mistake, too.
Ouch.
Speaking of Pokemon Go, in 811 days of existence, that's how long Pokemon Go has been around as of a few days ago this week.
Oh, wow.
Pokemon Go managed to hit $2 billion in revenue pulled in through the microtransactions and all that stuff. So 811 days.
Incredible!
811 days to hit $2 billion. The game has never sat lower than the number 65 on the overall grossing spot in the U.S. App Store. And as we know, if you've been paying attention recently, it's been climbing up and up and up and doing extremely well, but it's never fallen far. So we have a whole breakdown from the gang at Sensor Tower. Or no, I'm sorry, it's Apptopia this time, breaking down how the game did and all that jazz. We also have some details on how it did compared to other games that have hit the 2 billion mark. So, for example, you piece of garbage. It took Candy Crush 1,500 days to hit 2 billion. I don't know these games. They're all...
You are a lame old man.
They have icons.
You don't know what's cool.
I don't know. You know... Because
you are irrelevant.
Hi, mother brain. Because I'm a consummate professional, I'll go to the article and see if it explains what these titles are. No, it doesn't. You know, it's like Clash of Clans and all that stuff. Whatever. There were two other games that made it to 2 billion faster. And I want to say one of them's Clash of Clans, and there's another one in there.
Yeah, a lot of icons look like the Clash of Clans icons.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem.
The number one game did it in 768 days, and the second place game did it in 798 days. So Pokemon Go's right there with both of them. Top comment comes from Dominator 101, and he says, they might have done it faster if they had a screaming guy as their icon. Yep, that's true. Number 1 and number 2 are screaming guys. Number 4 is also a screaming guy, but in between those is just the Pokeball. Yeah, if they had a screaming guy in there, it would have done better. And number 5 is, like I said, Candy Crush, which is candy, and that's why it's almost double what the other games, almost double the amount of time the other games took to hit 2 billion. So candy just doesn't, well, I guess candy did it for people, but it took them twice as long. There you go. Ryan says Screaming Machamp. Yeah, why not? There's plenty of Pokemon that could be screaming. They got enough Pokemon to change it once every day for a couple of years, right? The Switch Online service. If you have the Switch Online service, you can upload your saved games to the cloud so that they're safe. If something were to happen to your Switch, you don't have to worry about it. Or you don't have to worry about your saved games. You don't have to worry about your Switch, obviously, but your saved games will be safe. And people were asking, how long is my save data safe for if I let the service lapse? What if I don't re-up my subscription? Do you guys delete that data right away? Do I have a grace period to get back on it? Blah, 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 blah. And in typical Nintendo fashion, they didn't bother to say anything because there's some things they talk about and some things they don't. And you think they would want to explain that before the service came out so people could be like, oh, this answer is appropriate. I will get the service. Or other people would say, this is not appropriate. I am not buying the service. Well, a week plus after the service came out, Nintendo finally gave a statement on the situation, and it's good news.
Oh.
They say if Switch Online membership expires, users won't be able to access their save data cloud backups. However, Nintendo will allow users who resubscribe within 180 days to access their previous save data cloud backups. So in other words, you have 6 months after your subscription lapses to re-up and have access to your save data. They will not delete your save data in those 180 days where you do not have the service. So that should be plenty of time for you to decide if you would like to re-up the service, especially since the total cost for a full year is $20. So hopefully in that 6-month time span, if you're strapped for cash, you'll be able to come across $20 somewhere and you can get a full year, or less than that for a smaller amount of time. But now you know. Now you know you don't have to worry about your saves disappearing right away. Nintendo's going to keep them safe in the cloud, however that works. Panurge Jr. has the top-rated comment, and he says, to everyone who assumed that Nintendo was the evilest company ever and would immediately delete your cloud saves. And then he redacted part of his statement. I mean, this is a can of worms. I don't believe Nintendo to be an evil company. I'm not going to say that there are.
No, there's way worse companies out there.
Yeah. There are some companies that are run by people who don't put consumer interests first. And I know that's the same for a lot of companies. All companies are worried about money first, but hopefully second, they're worried about their consumers. And I feel Nintendo could certainly do a better job, but does an okay job. But yes, there are other companies, which we will not name, that I think are far more quote-unquote evil than Nintendo.
Like Disney.
Like Disney, definitely. Masahiro Sakurai, the man who made Smash Brothers and some other games. He's working on Smash Brothers Ultimate. And when Ultimate was first announced, people were like, this is just a port of Smash Brothers Wii U. And then more stages were shown and more items were shown and new characters were shown. You know, the same with any fighting game. If people are like, oh, it's legit. This is a real game. I was wrong, which rarely ever happens. But people said, oh, yeah, that's my Mickey Mouse. I was wrong. So Mickey's a big fan of Smash. Mickey's going to be in Smash. You heard it here first.
Confirmed.
Sakurai he has a weekly feature in Famitsu magazine, and this week he talked about the announces of characters so far and all that stuff. But he wants you to know they are going to be slowing down with character reveals. So he's not saying there aren't going to be any more, but he's saying they're going to slow it down a bit. He says, we announced Isabelle in the Nintendo Direct. However, it would be a mistake to think that the new character announcements will keep going at this pace until Smash Brothers releases. We may have been a little trigger happy, so we'll be living modestly from here on out. So he's like, well, we got more stuff coming, but we're gonna slow things down. We've been going a little too fast here. So if you are holding out hope for a new character that has not been announced for the game yet to make it into the roster, there is still a chance, but time is running out, I'm sorry to tell you. So if you're hopeful that, I always turn to like Shrek or Naruto, ones that people always joke about. Waluigi, there's one that people seriously want. If you're hoping, Hiley and Tom is a viewer of our daily videos. Thank you, Hiley and Tom. He says Wolfgang Puck will be revealed as a fighter. That's related to yesterday's video. Let me finish this story. I'm going to scan through to see if I made a top story, and I'll explain that reference. But first, Mr. Life says, well, we only have a few months until Ultimate launches, so I figured that we will get one last Smash Direct in, like, November. Well, I think that's fair to guess. Yes, let's see. Nope. Oh, my God. Is there another page of top stories? Good Lord Almighty. All right, I'll just talk about it now. So Jeff Keighley, the man who's known for running the Game Awards, or creating, I should say, the Game Awards, or some of you probably know him as the Dorito Pope. He took a picture and put it on Twitter. It's a picture of him, Reggie, and Wolfgang Puck, the chef. Some people thought in the picture it was
it sounded painful.
It was Guillemot, the head honcho over at Ubisoft, but that is not. They do look somewhat similar, but it is not. It was Wolfgang Puck. Yeah, they do actually.
I've never seen a picture of
that. Somebody had a picture of them side by side, and I was like, son of a bitch, they do look pretty close. So people saw that picture, and then I did the video yesterday, and the comment I picked was from one of our site readers.
Was your theory that they're the same person?
No. One of our commenters said, Wolfgang Puck is joining Smash Brothers. Confirmed. So I did a little announcement video for Wolfgang Puck joining Smash in yesterday's video. By the way, if you don't watch my today's big story features and you hate them and whatever, just go watch yesterday's. Hello, Lightning Bro. We're doing good. How are you? Just go watch yesterday's because I put so much time into making 2 really dumb things, and they look so bad. But I put so much time into it. Usually, today's big story takes around an hour to an hour and a half to do with filming and editing and all that stuff. Yesterday, 3 hours easy, and that was me just editing 2 things together before I even recorded anything. So I don't want to spoil what it is, but thank you, Mother Brain. I appreciate it. Mother Brain says yesterday's big story was super funny. I appreciate that. If I had more time more often, I would do a whole bunch of that stupid, weird, funny stuff. Sometimes I have the time to do it, and sometimes I don't. And yesterday I was like, it's Friday night, things are slowing down. I want to get this video out. I saw that comment on GoNintendo, and I was inspired.
Out and busy. You had nothing to do.
I was inspired to make something goofy, so that's what I did. Thank you very much.
Because really, you're just nothing without me.
Wow. Thanks, Mulberry. Hell has frozen over, everybody. This week.
Raw meat. Vacuumed.
Colma tipped us off to this instantly, right when it happened. So thank you to Coleman. Sony announced that they are opening up Fortnite cross-platform play with Xbox One and Switch.
Big deal.
And it's active now, I believe. So finally, after millions of people complain, Sony has opened up Fortnite to cross-platform on all platforms. So before, over on PS4, you can only play with PC and mobile. Now you can play with those and Xbox One and Switch. So that's great news. And now other companies that have multi or cross-platform games such as Rocket League, they are saying, we're talking to Sony. We don't want to say anything official, but we're going to try and make it happen. So, I mean, yes, it took Sony a long time. Yes, they had stupid reasons for not doing it, but it happened. It finally happened. Mr. Life, man, top-rated comment for Mr. Life again. He says, well, hold on there, Sony. I thought that you said the PS4 was the best place to play all the games, and that the competition couldn't stand a chance to you guys. Ooh. In the internet days, that's what we call sick burn. That was a sick burn. Yeah, I mean, isn't that embarrassing when a company goes out of their way to say something like that, and that's their explanation as to why they can't support cross-platform play? And then they're like, well, we can do it. The reason nobody bought in the first place. And then whatever. Kirby, you were asking about Bowsette.
Oh, yeah, I was.
Well, here's the story about Bowsette.
Because I've been keeping up with your stories all week.
Oh, I've been keeping up on Bowsette.
I've been keeping up all right.
Sony, or not Sony, sorry. Nintendo is obviously very well aware of what's going on with Bowsette. They're not talking about it really, but there's no doubt that they've seen what fans are doing and all the information out there and all the, let's just say artwork. We'll leave it at artwork for Bowsette. And plenty of companies have been trying to reach out to Nintendo to get statement from them on Bowsette. Well, someone actually did get a statement, but it's about what you expect. Nintendo said, concerning the drawings and other things uploaded to the internet, we have no comment. So, I mean, not surprising. We all figured Nintendo didn't want to talk about it because a lot of the art, I will say, is quite sexualized.
NSFW.
So Nintendo doesn't want to draw any more attention to that, and they're not about to put out a public statement about anything Bowsette, because they don't want their name attached to Bowsette in any way, shape, or form. So they are not going to even utter the term Bowsette. As you notice in this statement, They didn't say Bowsette. They just said concerning the drawings and other things uploaded to the internet. So they don't want, no one at Nintendo is going to say Bowsette. If somebody asked Reggie directly about Bowsette, first he'd be like, because that's how he starts every sentence. And then he'd be like,
hey, look over there.
We really like the Passionate Nintendo Fans show with all the creations they put out there, and and it's a very talented group of people, and we enjoy that they like our IPs. And he's not going to be like, Bowsette's hot, I want to marry Bowsette. Nobody's going to ask Reggie if Bowsette has a penis, because I don't know. Does Bowsette have a penis?
Oh yeah. So what? What the heck? What is Bowsette's pronoun? I
don't know.
This. Okay.
That's for Nintendo's not going to give us an answer, so that's for the internet to decide.
All right.
Or for Bowsette to decide, because I personally like to think that Bowsette's real out there. So, Guy Bones has the first comment, and he says, "You're off your royal rocker," but he has the old Nintendo comic with Princess Peach dressed up as Luigi.
Nintendo Power.
Yes,
I remember
those days. So yeah, that I would imagine that's the closest you're going to get to an official statement from Nintendo on Bowsette. Argonaut, who worked on Star Fox and X, which we talked about last week. I know, Mark. I know, Mark. I know. Argonaut has mentioned that they were working on something else with Nintendo, but it didn't end up seeing release. And it was called the Supervisor. Super Space Visor, not the Supervisor.
Oh, okay.
This is Argonaut, some guy. Mr. San at Argonaut. He says, we had built a virtual reality gaming system called the Supervisor that would have been awesome, but instead they canned our project, which was full color, had head tracking and 3D texture mapping, and released the ill-fated Virtual Boy in its place. Let's see if they... Yeah, it gives more details. We had full color and head tracking at a time when no one else did, but the Supervisor was canceled in favor of the Virtual Boy.
Maybe it was because of the name.
We almost finished the Supervisor, and it was canceled due to Virtual Boy, which is a shame. VR gaming could have happened 20 years ago if they had kept us on, but they didn't. And he also says Nintendo was worried about how people probably wouldn't want the Supervisor because it was something you actually had to wear. And they were like, people worry about looking stupid and dorky, so they probably won't do that. So they
released the Virtual Boy instead.
Well, you didn't have to wear that. You just looked into it. Also, they were very worried, in typical Nintendo fashion, they were very worried about people wearing this thing and walking around and tripping and hurting themselves. They were worried about liability and stuff like that, which, again, would explain the Virtual Boy, which was something you put on a table and looked into, so chances of you falling over and stuff like that weren't good until you were done looking at it. Once you were removed from it, you could fall down and hurt yourself, but then Nintendo could be like, we don't know what you did in between the time of finishing playing.
I might be wrong. Wasn't the Virtual Boy advertised as a portable system?
I don't remember if it was advertised as portable, but it was certainly portable. Yeah, I mean,
sure.
And
then you could pick it up and take it
more portable than a Super Nintendo at the time. Yeah, you don't need, because it's a self-contained display unit. You don't need a TV to play it. But yeah, as we all know, the Virtual Boy didn't exactly pan out. So we never got the Supervisor, which is a shame because it sounds pretty damn cool. Hawk says, as highly as they talk about the project, it couldn't have been that good given the technology we had at the time. But it certainly does shed a bit more light on Yokoi's fall from grace after the Virtual Boy. He didn't just design a bad product. He went with it instead of a potentially better project. Well, I don't think... I know Gunpei Yokoi had definitely some say in all of that, but, he didn't make the final call on it. We're going to do that. Real quickly, I'll mention that roughly 25% of Switch owners have downloaded the Switch Online mobile app, which has been out for quite some time. So obviously there was a bump when the Switch Online service launched, but nothing too crazy. Shillelagh says, I don't know if that's impressive. Probably not. There's a lot of hate for that app. Yep, and that's all I really need to say about it. People have been wondering why Isabelle isn't an Echo fighter in Smash Brothers, rather, and why she isn't an Echo fighter and why she is her own fighter. They're like, why isn't she just an Echo, a villager? Because there are other Echo fighters in the game. Well, Sakurai took to his weekly Famitsu comment or feature to comment on it. He says, Isabel's based off the villagers. She pockets items and rides on a balloon swing. However, she's not an Echo fighter. This is because Isabel and Villager have fundamentally different body types and personalities, so we couldn't have made her an Echo. All of her animations are different. Not a single one is the same. So there you go. Now you know why Isabel is her own character on the roster.
Well, she should be.
Tetradox says, I'm sorry. Isn't that the reason why Daisy is an Echo? Well, no one here likes Daisy. If anyone would like to defend Daisy, please speak up. Oh, I'm sorry, there's no one. We've never had anyone on the podcast that likes Daisy.
Correct.
Is Catherine Romeo in the chat?
She is not. I have not seen her, no.
To stick up for Daisy.
Hi, I'm Daisy. This is really...
Why do we have Hi, I'm Daisy
I
on
don't
the
know.
soundboard?
Oh, yeah, I was going to go do that thing for the soundboard.
Oh, well.
I still could. We're like 50 minutes into the show. I guess not this week. You know what's really funny? Last week we were talking about Star Wars Shadows of the Empire.
Were we talking about
Yeah. And this week there's a feature on it, which is pretty crazy. Still the best name in the Star Wars universe by far. Dash Rendar.
Oh,
that
that's
is
right.
An amazing name.
It's pretty cool.
Game Informer did a feature with John Knowles, who was part of LucasArts at the time, which worked on Star Wars Shadows of the Empire for the N64. And he says the game actually started out as a Western, not tied to Star Wars in any way. He says, we decided to take a break from Star Wars, so we started kicking around this idea of a Western with this new machine we heard Nintendo was making. So they were trying to do something for the 64. And they're like, how about a Western game? Yeah, we've had enough Star Wars. Then Nintendo called up LucasArts, and they were like, hey, you know what we want? A Star Wars game on the 64. LucasArts was like, you got it. And they went and talked to this team, and they were like, you know that Western you're working on? Now it's a Star Wars game. And the rest is history. Going to show how secretive the N64 was at this point in time. LucasArts was making the game before the system had come out, obviously, and they were privy to information long before other companies were. But the information was so secretive that not even everyone at LucasArts was A, allowed to work on the project, and B, allowed to see it, C, to even know it was in the studio. So he goes on to say, we even had to have the controller hidden in a box, both ends cut out of the side so you couldn't see it. We would just put our hands in the side of the box. The analog stick was top secret, so they had to hide the controller in a box to play. Sounds so perverted. You know, people would walk by and be like, are they really working on something, or are they just like touching themselves inside that box?
Oh, like when you put a hole in the bottom of the popcorn.
That's right. That's right. We weren't allowed to show the controller, so we put a hole in the sides of a popcorn tub. Just went to town. They also say that during the game's development, they had a chance to show it to Shigeru Miyamoto, and in typical Miyamoto fashion, he was an asshole to him. Yeah, the quote is, Miyamoto was talking to us about the new Mario and how excited he was to see this stuff we were working on, and then we proceeded to provide us with, and then he proceeded to provide us with some critiques. I'm feeling pretty good about what we got. And then the feedback, well, it was certainly legitimate. Part of our problem being a shooter was the further away you would get from your character with the camera, the more inaccurate your shooting, turning, and aiming becomes. The other bit of feedback, I'd like to think something was lost in translation, but I swear what I heard was his translator saying, when talking about character animation, do you not take any pride in your animation? They were right, but it was harsh feedback at the time. That stung a little bit, but it was still pretty cool to meet Miyamoto. So looking back on it, he's got a really good attitude about it. But yes, Miyamoto, in typical fashion, being a real jerk. I mean, he says he'd like to think that he misheard or misunderstood, but no, that's what Miyamoto does.
Yeah, whenever he's like not directly involved in the creation of a game, he just like craps all over.
Yep, this is bad. What you're making is bad. Shillelagh says, Shillelagh quotes the part about the box controller thing. He says, that sounds so ridiculous but funny at the same time. Classic Nintendo. I'm picturing a scene from I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here with employees sticking their hands in a mysterious dark hole, not knowing what's on the other side. We had I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here for like 1 season or maybe 2 seasons here, and we don't have it anymore. I know it's a big thing over in the UK and other parts of Europe.
Oh, that's right. It's one of those shows that we like tried to American.
It was like Survivor, really made easier for celebrities. It's basically them like sleeping in tents on cots
Who
in
wants
like a
to
jungle.
watch a show about a bunch of people with their cans hanging out?
Was Joan Rivers' daughter on one of the shows?
I don't know.
That sounds about right.
Steel Diver says Miyamoto sounds like my ex-wife. I don't know.
Do you not take any pride in your anime?
Kirby,
Yes.
Bowsette's searches on YouPorn grew
9,000%.
by 5,849%. This information was this is going to be a big joke and nobody's going to believe me. YouPorn's PR team emailed me this. I do not have a YouPorn account. I do not subscribe to porn websites. I do not think anything's wrong with that at all. I just don't know how YouPorn got me to reach out to. Maybe because they know I would publish it, because a lot of outlets didn't publish it. I'm like, I don't know, as long as there's no nudity.
There's a lot of porn watched at that house.
But the porn,
Yeah.
I will tell you,
Look at the stats. For
hand to
house.
God, I've been to YouPorn maybe.
Hand to God.
What?
Yeah,
It's
like
a
you believe
phrase.
in God.
It's a phrase. What do people say? Hand to Miyamoto.
Swear on Buddy.
Swear on Buddy,
There you
the
go.
ghost of Buddy. I've been to
Hand
YouPorn
to
like
God. Is that some kind of pervert talk?
maybe 20 times my entire life. I've never gone to YouPorn ever, but it's quite popular.
What are the benefits of YouPorn over Pornhub or Bang Bus?
I'm trying to think when they're
Are they
the same
basically-
amount of letters. I
Are
was
they
trying to
basically
think.
the same?
Yeah, I was trying to think. I think they're owned by the same company. To tell you, the
Oh,
truth.
okay.
I was trying to think if one was less letters to type in when you're like really in a pinch for porn. Like, so I have 6 letters instead of.
I guess there's that.
Well, anyway, YouPorn sent me their press release about Bowsette. They said on Monday, September 24th, searches for Bowsette increased 2,900%, and then they grew to 5,800%. And I was joking because in the press release, I think the guy's name was Alex. It was Adam or Alex. He was like, if you have any questions that you want to answer, just let me know. And I was like, Alex, I have a lot of questions, so I don't think you can answer them. So we were joking back and forth, and I was like, hey, get your team ready because Boozette is the new up-and-coming one. And he was like, I will keep an eye out for that. Thank you. We're working on our graphics now. So here's the crazy part. Well, all this is crazy.
Here's the crazy part.
YouPorn got in touch with me to publish that press release, which I did. And then they followed me on Twitter. They have a lot of followers. Obviously.
Oh, I'm sure.
But also, Pornhub got in touch with me, and Pornhub has been following me on Twitter for a very long time. And Pornhub has over 1 million followers. And we did a story later on the week about Pornhub stuff, and they retweeted it to their followers. They retweeted it to 1 million different eyes looking at that tweet.
Here's a question I
So
have.
because they follow me and I follow them, I sent them a DM and I was like, thank you so much for that retweet. That is awesome. And they sent me a heart back.
Oh.
Yes?
Here's a question I have, and it's really an actual question. I'm not being like facetious.
What is pornography?
How do I view this?
A baby's penis.
Pornography. If I really like someone or something,
You give them porn, yes.
I would follow them on social media, right? I really like Radiohead. So I might follow Radiohead on social media.
Got a comment about that.
I really like...
We get it. You're asking why
David
people would
Venable.
follow Pornhub on Twitter.
Because I'm following people and organizations because I'm interested to see what they have to say. And I feel like from my perspective, like I'm looking at porn for one reason. And I don't really need to be advertised to about like what's new, what's going like feel like that's more.
Yeah, but
I don't know why.
Then you're not really into Pornhub then.
Yeah, I guess like if you're really into like the porn industry as opposed to objectifying
or you
porn.
just really like porn and you're there a lot and you're like, oh, I follow on Twitter, I can see what's
like
new.
Porn is an art form?
It doesn't matter either way. Your question, you're saying you like Radiohead. Well, some people like Pornhub. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I guess it just wouldn't occur to me.
Some people like Radiohead themed porn.
Tom York porn, man.
Now, speaking of Tom York, I watched the season premiere of The Good Place.
I don't want to hear anything bad about Tom York.
It's not.
Okay.
What's the one lady's name? She's the main four, and it's not Kirsten, whatever. You know, Tahani. She's showing her phone at one point, you know, and this is when she, well, I don't know what you know. This is when she was alive on Earth. Mm-hmm. She's looking through her phone, and you know she knew a lot of celebrities. You know that part, right? Mm-hmm. She's scrolling through, and she's in the tees, and she had The Rock, and right underneath The Rock was Tom York. But anyway, pornography. It's great for everyone.
It's great for everyone who is of a certain age.
Kless33 on GoNintendo says, GoNintendo YouPorn crossover when? And the top rated comment was by me. And I said, and now it's time for me to set up that podcast sponsorship. You know, maybe. Partially joking, truth in every joke. That would be something else. I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't. I can't show anything, obviously, but I don't know. That'd be funny. That's what I can tell you. Spectre says, porn, fun for all family. Wait, what? Yep. Hi, Drew. Nintendo has triumphed in a lawsuit with Maricar go-kart rental service. So Maricar is not officially sponsored, licensed, anything by Nintendo. But they had go-karts that were made to look like Mario Kart's go-karts. And they let you put on costumes that were like Halloween rental costumes of Mario and Luigi and Princess Peach and all that jazz. And there was an initial lawsuit and nothing came of it. And Nintendo was like, nope, this isn't going to stand. We're not letting you guys get away with this. So they pushed forward with the lawsuit in a different way. And now Nintendo has been victorious. Maricar is no longer allowed to rent the outfits to go along with the go-karts, that as long as they're Nintendo related. They're also not allowed to have any like Nintendo themed branding on the cards or anything like that. And they've been ordered to pay Nintendo $88,000 in damages. Well, Tono Blake says, good for Nintendo. I guess ripping off IPs is just incredibly lazy. It's a great idea. Not ripping off IPs. The Mario Kart thing is a great idea, yes. But if you're going to do something like that, you have to try and work with Nintendo. And then if they say no, as much as you would like to do it, you can't. Hello, Gaelic Elvis. Still one of my favorite names. Thanks for joining us. North America.
He's a hunk of burning taters.
But what? Because he's Irish? Or because he's Gaelic?
Yep.
Okay. North America this week's digital downloads. What North America get? We got FIFA 19. On brain. The latest FIFA is available. Mega Man 11.
Play that. I cannot wait.
Mega Man 11 is listed here, but that doesn't come out until October 7th. 2nd. Arena of Valor is available. Dragon Ball Fighter Z, or Fighters, however the hell I'm supposed to say it. There's a new update for Fighter. There's a new update for Yokai Watch Blasters. Yes. Also new this week. These are all Switch. Yes. Cyberlip, Alwa's Awakening, Arcade Archives Excitebike, Armello, Demon's Crystals, that is the crystals of the demon, Possessive, Jack and Jill DX, Marble It Up. I got to mention that real quick. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but Marble It Up is like the spiritual successor to Marble Madness.
Oh, okay.
Or Marble Blast, the Marble Blast series. It's made by the same people who made Marble Blast.
Marble Blast.
Monster Loves You is out tomorrow. More Hun Wanted, Rise and Shine, Rooms, The Adventure of Anne and George. Sega Ages Lightning Force, Sega Ages Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog, The Escapist Complete Edition, Towerfall, Oh boy. Valtherian Arc comes out October 2nd. Wander Song is available, as is Whispering Willows. There you go. Another week that's jam-packed with content, and there's some great titles in there. Let's see if you guys agree. I bet you don't. Autumnal Blake says, I think it might be time for a Friday edit mini review. Well, you missed your chance, buddy. I could have read it right now, but no, there is another page, and we're at 103. All right, I'm going to have to be very selective here. No, we're doing Europe because we got to do Europe. FIFA 19, these digital downloads. FIFA 19, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Arena of Valor, South Park, The Stick of Truth, Valkyria Chronicles 4, A Gummy's Life, Debris Infinity, Oh My God, Heads Party Edition, The Escapist Complete Edition, Think of the Children, This is the Police 2, Ultimate Chicken Horse, Rooms, The Adventure of Anne and George, Snake vs. Snake, Pilot Sports, The King of Fighters 2001, Towerfall, Alwa's Awakening, or Alwa's Awakening, Armello, Dokuro, X-Order, More Unwanted, Rise and Shine, Tangrams Deluxe, Wander Song, Whispering Willows, Demons Crystals, Guyana Sisters Twisted Dreams, Ultimate Edition, Labyrinth of Refrain, Coven of Dusk, Namco Museum Arcade Pack, but spelled P-A-C for Pac-Man.
Oh, okay.
Find the Balance, Jack and Jill DX, Monster Loves You, DLC for a whole bunch of stuff. Oh my God, so much DLC. Pre-orders. I wouldn't scroll through all this if I wanted to make sure that there's no themes. There's not. Jake Hunter's detective story, Ghost of the Dusk, is on the 3DS. Yes, the 3DS is still alive. It got one game this week. Sorry, Mom Brain. Looks like they're officially done with themes.
Mm.
Oh, well.
Or they've dried up on themes. Shillelagh says, I'd like to know, does anyone buy the DLC packs below, the FIFA Points pack and the Arena of Valor vouchers packs? Because they're very expensive. They're basically $80. He's like, does anybody buy those things? Because they're crazy. No. I'll mention it real quick. Microsoft has seen that Sony's allowing Fortnite cross-platform play, so Microsoft is saying they're hopeful that Sony will work with them to bring Minecraft to cross-platform as well for PS4, Switch, and Xbox One altogether. I don't know. Pokemon's director, the director of the original Pokemon, I should say. So we're talking about Junichi Masuda. He talked about some interesting things about the original Pokemon games. He says they weren't sure that the game was going to be successful because they were making it for the Game Boy and it was in development for 6 years, and the Game Boy was kind of falling off after that. But as everybody knows, the Pokemon Red and Blue ended up breathing new life into the Game Boy and pushing them ahead for years and years. But obviously they didn't know that at the time. So they said they were worried about it, and they were met with a lot of other people and companies who were saying, you're making this for the Game Boy? Why? The Game Boy's dying. Well, seems like they made the right decision. Also, we find out that the games were almost destroyed by accident, obviously. Talk about this happening during development. Masuda says, I think the most memorable happening that I still have in my mind after all these years is that we were developing the game on these Unix computer stations. We're developing, and they're these Unix boxes, not Unix, and they crashed quite a bit. Back then, computers would crash fairly frequently. I'm trying to go fast. And
the box keeps crashing.
Somewhere midway through the development, maybe in the 4th year or so, we had a really bad crash that we didn't know how to recover the computer from. That had all the data for the game, all of the Pokemon, the main character, everything. It really felt like, oh my God, if we can't recover this data, we're finished. I just remember doing a lot of different research. I called the company that I used to work for, seeing if they had any advice to recover the data. I would go on this internet service provider, blah, 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 blah. He says they got it fixed. Oh. So they almost lost the entire game, like legit lost Pokemon Red and Blue after 4 years of development. But, oh boy. Sean Snopta, that's how you say your name. I remember, right? Hi, Blunners. Thanks for joining us. Sean Snocta says, it's crazy that they genuinely weren't confident in the game back then. The series wasn't planned beyond Gold and Silver. Over 20 years later, and the franchise has never been bigger. Yes, all those statements are true. It's been a wonderful success story. I remember Pokemon, I think it was on the cover of Time.
Oh, okay.
I think Pikachu was. Mm-hmm. And there was a whole discussion about the fad. Like, how long is the fad going to last? Well, is 20 years a fad anymore? I don't think so. Here we go. I did have it as a top story because Pornhub got in touch with me. Combined searches for Bowsette and Bowser on Pornhub hit 500,000 in just 72 hours. That is crazy. Now, people had specific questions about, like YouPorn said that searches went up 5,800%. People were like, yeah, so like 0 searches to 16 or something like that. Well, Pornhub gave you the specifics to let you know that is not the case. Bowsette searches didn't exist before September 22nd, but appeared first on September 23rd and then grew exponentially. On September 26th, 323,000 people searched for Bowsette on Pornhub. Bowser also received some additional attention. While a few hundred people were already searching for Bowser on a daily basis. I'm not kink shaming. I just think that's really funny. His searches reached a high of 51,000 on September 26th. The dynamic duo shelled out over 500,000 Pornhub searches in just over 72 hours. So the terms that they were searched, all the terms obviously involve Bowser or Bowsette, but here's what people specifically. So, I don't know if I can say some of this stuff. Woo! Searches were Bowsette porn, Bowsette hentai, very specific, Bowsette cosplay. Fair enough. Fair enough. There's been a lot of cosplay out there, like the what do you say? Somebody who's like needs no introduction.
Like a cosplayer?
I just mean like any celebrity in general.
Like
Tom
Hanks.
No. I mean like the word for it, like the like this person needs no introduction. What's the word for that?
Incomparable.
Is that right? Oh, whatever.
I know what you mean.
The world-renowned cosplayer Jessica Negri has done her own Bowsette cosplay. Somebody said it in the chat right here. That is funny. The titular. Yes, Jessica Negri has done some cosplay among many others. I can't say. I can't say. Okay. The most common Bowser searches were Bowser, Princess Peach Bowser, Bowser hentai, Princess Bowser, Bowser Peach, Bowserette. Come on, Bowserette. Hot girl Bowser, female Bowser, girl Bowser. Oh, I left one off on the most common Bowsette searches. Bowsette JOI. We'll just say that. So yeah, there you go. Men were 271% more likely to search Bowser and 342% more likely to search Bowsette when compared to women. Millennials aged 13 to 34 were 214% more likely to search Bowsette when compared to visitors aged 35 and up. Well, the good news is fans of all legal ages were searching for Bowser and Bowsette. Good for you people looking for Bowser, because Bowsette wouldn't exist without Bowser. Peach has already been a term on there for a long time. So let me see that Peach. Haley says there's some seriously messed up people out there. Edit. I bet I know the country where the vast majority of those searches are coming from. Has anyone said Peach is feeling horny? Literally. What? Oh, no. Got political. I had to stop. I'll talk about porn all day long. Once we get to politics, no. Blunners, are you saying that it's crazy or unbelievable that I'm talking about Pornhub while sitting next to my fiance? I never even would. It would never cross my mind because we're not like that at all. Like we don't give a crap one way or the other.
Wait, somebody thinks
Blunder says he's got Pornhub open on that laptop.
That's what I'm sitting here doing right now.
This is the God's honest. Oh God, this is the buddy's honest truth. I do not look at pornography on any computer that I work on because my work is too important. I will never do that. These are GoNintendo stations, without a doubt. This laptop's named GoNintendo when I log in, and my desktop is the same thing. I will not do that. Not a chance. You guys are too important. I go to other people's houses and look at it. Speaking of Bowsette and something not porn-related, guess what? It turns out, even though it doesn't have the same name, Bowsette was an idea Nintendo had before it became popular through fans. There's the Super Mario Odyssey art book, which just launched in Japan. And in that art book is a drawing of Bowser, who has taken over Princess Peach with his own capture hat, his own cappy, and it turns her into an evil-looking Princess Peach. So Nintendo had the idea. This was in development for Super Mario Odyssey, so this could be from years ago. Pretty crazy.
So she's not wearing like S&M gear.
No, just regular. She's got a dress of Bowser colors, so green dress, red gem, whatever that is.
Oh yeah, she's got red hair like Bowser.
Yep. Casey44 says, see, now it's canon, just not sexy enough. Needs to excite my nipples. That's right. It's Casey44. Blade Master says, welcome back. Instantly recognized your comment. Even I went in to comment as well. I said, so good to see you back. Podcast, here we come. That is great. Hi, Al Delmar. Thanks for joining us. Casey44. Oh, yeah, that's something I wanted to say earlier, but we could get to it later. Junichi Masuda was worried that Pokemon would be too cute to be successful in the States. That worry was unfounded, but certainly reasonable at the time. And then finally, oh no, I got two more. We're just going through them really quick. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has exceeded sales expectations, as did the Torna DLC so far. So great news for Monolith Soft, obviously, and they take that information and say, following that, perhaps Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is something that could happen. So there you go. Finally, would you like a game of Lucky Hit? Where are the sailors? Sega has said that they're considering bringing Shenmue 1 and 2 to the Switch. This is localization producer Hiroshi Noguchi. He says, personally, I think it would be nice to play Shenmue on the Switch everywhere. And then that's followed by a comment from localization director Aigo Kasahara, who says, I do not know if it can be done, but I take note of the views of supporters. Even if answering this request, I would like to consider it. So there you go. One guy wants it, thinks it'd be great. The other guy says, I'll take it into consideration. It's gonna happen. They gotta pretend like it's not happening. But it's gonna happen. Captain Colin says, I have a feeling these games didn't age well at all and might end up killing a lot of people's interest in Shenmue 3. I think the fans who are interested in Shenmue 1 and 2 know how.
Shenmue 1 and 2.
Know how the game. I think people interested in Shenmue 3 know that the first and second games haven't really held up well, but haven't held up well in a charming way. It's a charming way. I mean, when I was playing the games back then, when I was playing the games back then, I was laughing at that stuff because it was bad back then. But
on the Dreamcast in your bedroom.
Dreamcast.
Because it's not just the dialogue and stuff. It's also like the gameplay, like the really like tedious stuff you have to go through.
Yes,
just to play it.
And plus all the lines delivered with expressionless faces. That was my favorite part.
Dead.
Yes. Okay.
Was that 2 discs?
I'm okay. I don't remember. One of them was.
I feel like Shenmue was 2 discs.
I used to sing that to you, and you would get so mad. Yes, I wanted to say this. I should have said this.
Yes, hello?
At the beginning of the show.
Yes, hello?
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Let me say this. This is important. You guys have been showing so much support to GoNintendo in every way, shape, and form. The website, the Facebook page, the podcast, the Twitter account. It's crazy. The Facebook page is doing insanely well because I said I'm going to really put my heart into it, really push things in a different way. And you guys have been showing amazing support. We had more likes in this past week than any week ever before. 15 likes. No. I don't remember how many it was. Something like 50,000 or something like that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. It's completely my fault.
Thank you so much for playing in my game.
Because I didn't know what to do with the Facebook page. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it like this, and do it like that, and do it like this. And you guys have been showing great support. So thank you. If you are on Facebook and you want not all the news that's on GoNintendo, but more news, no. Not all the news that's on GoNintendo and not all the stuff that's on Facebook, but all the bigger stuff that I said this all wrong.
Yeah, you did.
Let me say this again.
But
not all the stuff that's
on news that's sometimes not on Nintendo.
Not all the stuff that's
Do you
on,
want a steaming pile of doo-doo?
Not all the stuff that's on GoNintendo.com. And also not all the stuff that's on our Twitter page. But you would like the bigger stories, then like us on Facebook. There you go.
So it's like it's like the podcast in.
Yeah, but it's more than top stories.
Okay.
It's more than top stories, but not as much as Twitter.
And not as charming as the podcast because, well, Kirby and I are here.
Oh, sure.
Yes, that is true.
We are incredibly charming.
So
we are
thank you very
incredibly
much.
charming, aren't we?
Yeah, yes. Thank you very much, Charlie. That's very nice of you to say. Also, this past week on Twitter, in just one day, we had over 1 million impressions on Twitter in one day, thanks to Bowsette and your passion for her and a whole bunch of other things. We had a whole bunch of things that did really well, but over a million impressions in 24 hours.
So
that's
horny
crazy.
People are on
Crazy.
the internet.
That was before Pornhub retweeted us. I kid you not. So thank you. 1 million impressions. Yes, 1 million impressions. Twitter made sure to tell me that. I went to Twitter and they're like, congrats, your account has had 1 million impressions in the last 2 days. I said, thank you. They're all paid and they're bots.
And Russian.
And Russian bots, yes. Okay, I think that's it. We don't have time for questions because we're already at 1:20. What we played. Did you play anything?
Not this week.
Did you play anything?
No.
Well.
Oh, yeah. I played Fortnite last night.
Did you get the dub?
I didn't.
Okay.
But I was with my best friend and her 3 boys.
But.
And we do a traditional Friday night Domino's pizza party. And then we play games or watch movies. And last night, the oldest, who's in 3rd grade, had discovered Fortnite. And he's been playing, and so we were playing Fortnite together, and he got his first kill last night.
Oh,
yeah.
Our boy's first kill.
Yeah. His father came home, and I was like, you missed it. He goes, did you take a screenshot? I said, no, I didn't. Sorry. That's it.
Okay.
Rami.
Yes?
Did you play anything this week?
Well, this shows you how busy I was. I did not play anything this week at all. And it makes me very angry. No, I swear to God, I didn't play anything. I downloaded
No way! I don't believe it!
It's true. I downloaded Dragalia Lost on my phone. Here it is, just to prove it. But I haven't played it. I haven't played it. I want to play it. I'm going to play it. I'm certainly going to play something tonight. But I can talk about something that I played last week because I completely forgot. How did we forget to talk about this? We played the Nintendo Labo vehicle kit.
Oh, yeah.
But we didn't play. We don't have the submarine built, and we don't have the helicopter, whatever it is, built. But we have just the main vehicle kit built, and we were playing it. Mom Brain built the whole main kit. It's so much fun.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
It's so much fun. Look, it took me over 2 hours to build, but even building it was fun. Like, it was a really good time building it. It's not, the directions are impeccable. Like, really, any kind of issue you might have, they've anticipated the steps. You don't realize how perfectly, sequenced the steps are. Like, everything about it is seamless. You have exactly everything you need. Any questions I have, they answer. It was so easy to put together. It literally was just that it was time putting it together. There was no, it took me 20 minutes to figure that out, or it was fantastic. It's so easy, in fact, that the same 3rd grader that I was playing Fortnite with last night, I told his mom that for his birthday, she might want to consider getting him some Nintendo Labo because it's fantastic. And I actually have recommended to the tech department or the tech teachers in my school that they should get grants because that's total STEM. Like they should be getting Switches and Nintendo Labo for kids to put together
you can talk to Nintendo about that.
Yeah, to put together their stuff. Well, yeah. And to like make their own. Like it was, I had a blast. And then it was all the more satisfying to play with the car that I made. And it really worked exactly the way it was supposed to.
It's amazing how well it works. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I sat and played the vehicle kit, just the driving around on one section of the island for like over an hour, definitely. And I was just like blown away by it. I was like, this is so responsive and fun. And I love games like that that let you enjoy the ambient sound. There's just something I love about that experience. You're driving around this island and it's quiet and you hear like the wind and stuff and the water and the sound of the car, obviously. It's just a lot of fun. But you can raise an antenna on your car as well and listen to music while you're driving. But it sounds, you know,
like a radio.
It's not like a direct feed music. Yeah, it sounds like a radio. Oh, it's so cool. I really, 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 really enjoyed it. And the only reason I haven't gone back, well, outside of being busy, is because I want to build the other things so I have all the stuff ready to do, because there's missions to do in each part of the map. And there's one that's like blow up these balloons or fly up here and get this thing. And I was like, oh, I can't do it. One of them was like explore the bottom of the lake, but I don't have the submarine, so I couldn't do it. But boy, it was a lot of fun.
It really is.
The music is funny, Omar. It's like, you know, just standard, like there's like rock and like merengue and
Casio keyboard.
Yeah, it's funny. It fits the vibe of the game right. All right, we are going to do a question because I'm tired of not doing questions. Send your questions to GoNintendoQuestions@gmail.com.
Where?
GoNintendoQuestions@gmail.com.
Okay.
Ask us about Nintendo.
That's a good question.
Or video games in general, or anything you want. This one comes from Joey, or as we know him better, JC Me. He says, "What's up, raw meat?" He said to say it like Vince McMahon.
Oh, okay.
And crew. What is your favorite controller of all time? Trans vibrator.
Yeah.
I would say Super Nintendo. I love the Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo's definitely up there for me.
I really like
Cube.
that one. Cube, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the GameCube. No, the one I always go to right away is the Super Nintendo. Just the feel of it, the feel of the shoulder buttons I really like. Going through all the controllers in my head. Super Nintendo, that's what I'm sticking with.
I'm going with the Cube.
He says, I can't pick one, and if I absolutely had to make a condensed list, it comes down to 4 that I absolutely can't leave out. In no specific order: GameCube, Switch Pro controller, Xbox 360 wired, and PS4. Holler! That's what he says.
Right.
Thanks, Joey, or JC Me, as we know you better. Also, see, the things that I was supposed to talk about are coming back to me. Last week, I was like, come in. Last week, I was like, we were talking about the GoNintendo radio. Well, someone, or I should say 2 people, reached out to me about GoNintendo radio, and they were like, hey, we want to do it. And I was like, hey, put together like a 10-minute demo. Let me see what you got. And a couple days ago, they're like, hey, here's that thing you asked for. And I listened to it, and I was like, ooh, the chemistry here between these two, I really like. Oh, the music, yeah. So today, I told them I'm pretty sure we're going to move ahead on it. So GoNintendo Radio, I guess, is on its way to coming back. On its way to coming back. I heard it.
Speaking of GoNintendo Radio, here's what I was talking about last week. See, I searched for GoNintendo and all
that is funny. That's really funny.
And I think I was able to figure out why. Like,
why?
So when I do the search, GoNintendo for the podcast separated into the word.
I can fix that. Oh yeah, you appear in more searches when you're searching for just Nintendo, which is more likely than searching Go. That is why.
When I first noticed it, I was like, why is that so confusing? Because like
Yeah.
GoNintendo Radio hasn't been around for years.
That's right, Omar. Go Nintendo and chill. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm going to talk to those guys. There's a few points I want to bring up, but I really did like what they put together. I shouldn't say more because we haven't nailed down details, but I liked what I heard, definitely, and I sure hope you guys will as well. I'm pretty sure we're moving ahead with that. All right, let's do music trivia.
Okay.
Oh, let me talk.
Oh,
I got one more
boy.
start. So yeah, we're at 128.
I mean, who cares how long it is? It's
So,
our podcast,
I do.
man.
He's the only one, though.
Right.
So I had this company reach out to me, and they were like, "Hey, we're big fans of the Go Nintendo podcast. We got this thing coming out, and we want to promote it. Would you like to do an interview with this guy?" And I was like, "Wow, this is a big deal." And I was like, "Thanks for the offer. Wow, incredible. Wow, what a hole."
Can we
I
get
was
somebody
like,
who
this-
sells miniature ponies
this
to
is a-
sponsor the
this
podcast?
is
I want
a
a miniature pony.
very generous offer, but we don't really do live interviews on the podcast. It's not really our thing.
Well, we did it once.
Yeah.
I was like, can we
Nice.
work on something else? And I was like, we've been doing sponsorships lately, and I would be absolutely honored to work with you guys to promote this. And they were like, yeah, that sounds great. What do you offer, boss? I explained all that, and they're like, yeah, that's really cool. We'll get this all figured out. And then they emailed me back, and they were like, yeah, we can't make those decisions. So, and I was like, what do you mean
We have to ask our dad.
wait? I was like, we've been talking for 3 days, and now you tell me you can't make the decision? And they were like, well, it was 2 people, but only one of them was talking the whole time. And I was like, does this go for the other person too? And they're like, yeah. And that was all their email said. And I was like, well, can I do a written interview? Because that would make more sense for GoNintendo.com. And they were like, oh, well, we'll see how that works out. And I haven't heard back, so I don't know. But the thing this is like, as far as gaming goes, it's a big deal promoting something that's coming up soon that you guys all know about already, but it's a very big deal, a very long-running franchise. And it's like, oh my God, this would be so cool to be a part of. But I don't know. I'm trying. So if it falls through, I'll tell you what it was. And if it doesn't fall through, then you'll find out on the show. But I need like a couple more weeks. So keep your fingers crossed. It's another porn company, yes. No, it's not. All right, let's do music.
Oh, wait a minute.
That's right.
Jeez Louise.
You got music.
I'm so sorry, guys.
Give me UF and music.
Yeah, hold on. I didn't get that. Oh, yeah, we should be good.
I got music. You want to hear it? You want to hear it? Oh. Spectre Bazat says, I got 9 hours left of my shift. Keep the podcast going, preferably
Aw.
for 9 hours.
That's what it feels like sometimes. This first song comes to us from Fred McNanner.
After 10,000 years.
Ooh, yeah.
Is it first party?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Is it like a Wii something?
Nope.
Oh. What's this then?
3DS.
It's not Pilot Wings.
No, it's
Just
not.
gonna ask you those.
Okay, so it's not Metroid.
No.
It's not Zelda. My hair in my throat. It's not Zelda.
No. Hurry up.
Nintendo.
No.
I'm gonna burp or something. It's gotta be something with like cutesy. Tomodachi Life.
Nope.
Oh, Metopia.
Nope.
Fart. I'm stuck on me's.
Don't be.
Oh. Mario and Luigi.
Nope.
Right.
Ready?
Hey. Oh, wait. Is it Pokemon related? Yeah. Always. Should always. I don't know.
Somebody's
What?
keeping score also, by the way. I'm not. One of you guys has to.
Uh,
Too much. Too much for my brain.
What is it? Ultra
Nope.
Moon?
Oh, yeah, Sun and Moon. We'll take
Pokemon
it.
Sun and Moon?
Yep, put it out of its misery. It was
Okay.
Pokemon Sun and Moon. That's a point for you.
Yeah.
This next one comes from Steister.
For each point we get, I will have a hair in my throat. Oh! This is familiar.
You
Is it like
played
a Scribblenauts or a,
It's not Scribblenauts.
like a... Oh, is it like a Hasbro Family Game Night?
No.
Is it like a... That's too quiet. A Sims?
Nope.
It's really got that kind of like vibe. Is it like the drawing game?
Nope.
It's not anything Sims related.
No.
It's not first party.
No.
Oh man, is it an EA game?
Yes.
Yeah, see?
But it's not just EA.
Oh, is it Boom Blocks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was Boom Blocks from Steister.
I swear to God, like the guy who was doing music at EA at the time was like, hey, how about something like this? Boom, beep, boom, boom, beep, beep, boom, boom. But it's like really happy sounding. And they're like, yeah, sure, that sounds good.
This song comes to us from Boy Meets Nintendo.
Super Nintendo or N64?
Super Nintendo.
Is it licensed?
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Maestro 1?
No.
Blockheads.
No.
James Bond Jr.
Uh-uh.
Lawnmower Man.
No.
Total Recall.
Uh-uh.
Rambo.
Mm-mm.
Is that a cartoon?
No.
G.I. Joe.
No. It's a cartoon.
Real life G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Almost sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I agree. Is it a sports game?
Sure
Yeah,
is.
it's got a sports feel.
Okay, is it?
Is it first party?
Off-Road the Baja?
No.
Is that Ken Griffey Jr.?
It is.
That's how I knew it.
Ken Griffey Jr. presents Major League
My
Baseball.
brother used to play this game.
Never played that in my life.
That was from Boy Meets
Why?
Nintendo.
I don't know. Nintendo, again, their first party sports games, all like that has a similar vibe to 1080.
Oh, yeah.
Something about that.
Work your body.
Here comes a doozy from Blood Ocean 07.
Me shoesies. This is Donkey Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to do. This is Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country.
Let it go, because I want to hear that part. When I heard that when I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. Let this song go. I don't care how late we are now. Right here, we'll do this. Beep, 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 baby bird. Oh! Oh, God. Got that rare feel to it. Such a good song. All right, we can move on.
Pretty good.
All right, so that was Donkey Kong Country from Blood Ocean 07. This one comes from Sensei Pong.
Notice me, Sensei. Senpai. Sensei. Oh, 1942 or 1943.
42.
The worst music in the game ever.
Wow, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay.
It's so painful.
I played this at a neighbor's house, and I thought something was wrong with the Nintendo.
So that was 1942 from Sensei Pong. This one comes from...
Masai Tong.
This one comes from No Filter. You don't know it already?
No. Fragile?
No.
I got no idea. Zelda?
No.
Why would I know this right away?
Because just hearing it.
Layton?
Yeah.
Curious Village?
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Is it a regular Professor Layton? It's not his daughter. It's not Catriel.
No, it's regular. Professor Layton.
I don't remember the
And
name. The Half-Blood Prince. I don't remember the names of all of them.
Professor Layton.
How about something with, like, having a box?
no.
Ah.
I mean, I'm gonna give it to you because
You're gonna give it to me?
yeah.
Professor Layton and the. I don't know.
Wait, did you guess Curious Village already?
Yeah, that's the only
It's
one I
not
can remember the
Curious
name of.
It's Professor Layton and the Miracle Mask.
Ah.
Well, you guys got it. I'm counting that. This one comes from Reg Nilla. Oh, that was from No Filter, by the way.
Reg Nilla. What system? It's not first party.
Is it Child of Light?
No, it's not, and I don't think it's first party. It's lovely.
I like it a lot. I don't know what it is. What games have singing in them for their songs? It's not The World Ends With You. That's not out yet.
No,
Xenoblade?
no.
What else has singing?
This
is
game.
Beautiful.
It is.
It's not that other game that isn't out yet that I'm really excited for. Bastion?
No.
Transistor? Doesn't fit those games. Arena of Valor?
No.
Have we missed one yet?
Don't think so. I don't know.
Oh.
You're supposed to be keeping track of that.
I think we've got them all. No, really. I think we're at like 7. Something.
It's not Rayman. It's
No.
not Rabbids.
No.
It's not... Wow. I'm going to say now that this makes me want to play the game, and I'm sure when I hear it, I won't want to play it. Should I play
looks
it?
like a game you might want to play. Just based on the picture I'm looking at.
All right, we're at 140. Go ahead.
Hollow Knight.
Oh, I'm still playing Hollow Knight. I haven't heard that
It
song
looks
yet.
beautiful. It's like a
Hollow
nice
Knight,
game.
you would love the soundtrack. Yeah. Fantastic soundtrack.
All right, so that was Hollow Knight, and that came to us from Reg Nilla.
Damn it.
The next song comes from Link 601.
You looked at me like I should know this one, right?
Oh, is this the blob?
No. You shouldn't know this, but you should. I know why you don't.
What does that mean?
There's a good reason why you don't know what this is from.
What system?
Switch?
Nintendo Labo, something, Vehicle Kit, something I didn't play yet. Something you played that I didn't play?
We've both played it.
So it's something that happens in the game that you saw that I didn't.
No.
No, I'm confused.
I'm just saying that it's from a game you know. But there's a reason why you don't know this music.
Did he play with the sound off?
No.
Whatever.
Go ahead, I don't know.
It's the Boogie Bomb in Fortnite.
That's
you never
really
use the Boogie Bomb.
That's the Boogie Bomb? I know the
Yeah.
Boogie Bomb starts with like, brow. I know it starts with that,
Yeah,
but
that's why
wow. Yeah, I
Yeah.
never used the Boogie Bomb.
we never used the
That
Boogie
is
Bomb.
funny.
That was from Link 601, and it was Fortnite. This one comes from Glitter Bubble 3, spooky Halloween music.
Oh, I know this. Is it Nightmare on Elm Street? Or Friday the 13th?
Nope.
Neither of those?
Nope.
What? Monster in My Pocket?
Nope.
Frankenstein?
Nope.
Alfred Chicken?
It's not a spooky game.
Nope.
Platoon?
Mad Monster Party?
Nope.
Bram Stoker's
Nope.
Dracula?
I really thought that this was Nightmare on Elm Street
It's not.
or Friday the 13th.
Well, it's not.
Is it a franchise?
I don't think so.
Is it a property that exists outside of games?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
Home Sweet Home.
Uh,
Or Sweet Home, I think.
Dr.
it's called.
Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
No.
It sounds familiar. Deja vu.
Mm-mm.
What's that other one? Point and click. We played it. Yeah, is that why I'm thinking of it?
Oh, Shadowgate?
Yes.
Shadowgate. Yes, that's it. Thank you, Kirby.
It's
Thank
Shadowgate.
you.
It's not that spooky.
Oh,
All right.
Shadowgate. Thank
The
you.
last song today comes to us from Mikey3319, also sending a spooky submission.
Relax. Don't do it. Bloodhound Gang.
What's this?
Oh, that's a Super Nintendo noise.
Yep.
Gargoyles Quest.
No. No.
I'm having trouble thinking of spooky games on the Super Nintendo.
Let me tell you, the cover art is fantastic.
Man, it really nailed that like late 80s, early 90s horror
Grungy
vibe.
horror, yeah. Like street light in a dark
Dracula.
alley.
It's not Castlevania. Bram Dracula 2000.
Dracula Dead.
Dracula's not in the title.
Oh,
Vampire.
No.
Nosferatu.
Yes.
Man, this song is amazing. That is definitely that
Look
right
at
vibe.
the cover.
Yeah, Nosferatu, baby.
Yeah. So, what, you got one wrong, maybe?
Yeah, we got.
I think we got two wrong.
Oh, really?
I think. I'll wait for the chat. By the way, send your
I counted 9 out of 10.
your music to gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com.
Where?
Omar says it's 8 right, 2 wrong. gnpodcastmusic@gmail.com. Yeah, if you want spooky music, I guess hit Mom
Spooky
Brain up
music.
now because she'll be more likely to pick it.
Well,
That's spooky.
I'll
Spoopy.
do
Send
the
your
best I
spoopy
can,
music.
guys. Look, I just play the music. Don't make me like any more important than that. I can't be looking. I can't be picking.
Name Gang Clown, you're just a little late for this episode. Thanks for watching and listening. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Man, that song was something else, but it was definitely that Bloodhound Gang song, or whatever the name of the song that was sampled for that. Relax.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
What's the name of the song? Like the
Relax.
original, yeah.
I think it's just called Relax.
Is it? Yeah.
By Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Come on, Brain, that's enough.
Pornhub.
Don't badmouth
When you
our
want to come.
future sponsor.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I wanna.
It's dancing.
I was like, what are we at here, percentage-wise? Okay.
20.
I want to play that song so I can compare the two sounds in the beginning. I got that. YouTube Kids. What the hell? We don't have any kids.
I use YouTube Kids in school every day.
Thanks, Aloe Wolf. I appreciate it. Thanks, Sergio ALB. Or thanks for joining us, Sergio ALB64. He's too late, though, he says. Bloodhound Gang. What else did I say in that song? I'm sure I could just do this.
It's not the same song where they talk about Falco, is it?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Dun, dun. Ooh, rock me, Amadeus.
We gonna drop this next bomb for them. Thug the nip.
Deuce. Rock me on the deuce. Rock me on the deuce. Rock me on the deuce.
Look at content clean.
Rock me on the deuce.
You know, like double D's.
Yeah, that noise in the background. Man, let me marry Bloodhound Gang with another term. TRL.
Aww.
Am I still around? All right, I don't want. They sing about vulgar things. I don't want to put that out there.
God forbid.
Well, for potential YouTube troubles, I don't want to put it out there. I personally don't care.
I personally don't give a shovel.
Hi, Tim. Thanks for joining us. Tim, I'm sorry if you just joined us. We're ending now, but Highland
Bye,
Tom
Tim.
says the Blood Fart Gang.
Gross.
Okay, guys.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks for joining us. Felt like a good show. I hope you had fun. We had fun. And I guess
Fun.
we'll see you next. Oh, sorry, Tim. I didn't see you come in then. I apologize. This show's dedicated to Tim because I missed him the whole time. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, Tim.
Bye.